Whilst many lenders will decline someone who's had a bankruptcy in the past, it's still absolutely possible to get approved for a mortgage. Just make sure that you go to the right lender, and that's something that the OMA by credit experts do every day. The main considerations they look at: when was the bankruptcy registered and when was it discharged. The more recent, the likelier the fewer lenders they're going to be, and the more deposit is going to be required, and typically you're going to pay a higher rate. For something that maybe was a lot longer ago, then there's more lenders that will accept you. What was it for? So the reason for the bankruptcy: if it's debt ridden up because of a life event, something like a bereavement in the family, medical issue, or a separation, that's typically more acceptable than something like a business failure or maybe debt owed to HMRC, which some lenders don't like. There are some lenders that will still accept that, however. How much a bankruptcy was for originally. So if it was a huge amount, some lenders might not like that, whereas it's a smaller amount, they're more happy. Are there any legacy payments? So bankruptcy is all settled, but you still have some debts to pay as a result of it that didn't get swallowed up in the bankruptcy. That can be a factor. That often happens sometimes if there was a repossession as well, or there was some small charge that was still there and you've kept the property. And then equally, going forward from there, what's your conduct been like since? So yes, the bankruptcy is done and settled. Have you borrowed since? And how long have you been able to maintain a good conduct of your bank account? Have you gone into overdraft? Have you borrowed and repaid and everything else? It all comes into it to determine whether you can borrow or not now. As with most credit issues, the more recent it is, the more likely it is you're going to need a higher deposit and it's going to be a higher rate. The further along ago it was, the more chance you've got of being approved with more lenders. It's so important though that you speak to an expert about it. It can be the difference between being approved and declined, and also it can cost you a lot more in interest if you end up with the wrong lender. Make an inquiry. One of the experts who deal with this every day will be able to help you.